Welcome back to Guitar Theory Modules. This is Module 8 and we're on pages 25 through 27. You learned about basic intervals in Module 7. In this module, we're going to expand on that and talk about major and minor intervals. In Module 7, you learn to recognize basic intervals. Now, intervals can be classified further into major, minor, perfect, augmented, and diminished. In this module, you're going to learn two ways to identify major and minor intervals, and those will apply only to seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. One way to identify whether an interval is major or minor is to use the major scale as a guide. Pretend the lowest note of the interval is the beginning of a major scale. If the upper note is part of that major scale, it's a major interval. C is the lowest note in each of these intervals, and in this case, the upper note of each interval does belong to a C major scale, so these are all going to be major intervals. So here's your C scale: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C to D is a second, but you can also further classify it as a major second because D belongs in the C major scale. And by the way, that major second is also a whole step. We've done our whole, whole, half pattern to build major scales. That whole step is also a major second. C to E is going to be a major third because C, D, E, E is part of the C major scale. C going up to A, that's a sixth, and A does belong in the C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A. So C to A is a major sixth. And then C to B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be a major seventh. Here's a different set of intervals. Now D is the lowest note, so we're going to use the D major scale as our guide. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and then D. D to E, it's a second, and E is in the D major scale, so that's a major second. D to F sharp, that's a third, and that does belong in the D major scale, D, E, F sharp. D to B is a sixth, and this is a major sixth because B belongs in the D major scale. And that C sharp also belongs in the D major scale, so D to C sharp is a major seventh. And if you need more practice writing your major scales, review Module 4. When you lower a major interval by a half step, it becomes a minor interval. For example, C to D is a major second, or a whole step. C to D flat is a half step. And to call it a second, we need to label that as a D flat and not a C sharp, even though C sharp and D flat are essentially the same note, because we want on paper to have it appear as a second. So C to D, whole step, we lower that D a half step to D flat, and C to D flat is a half step. C to E is a major third. For a minor third, we just lower that E by one fret or a half step to an E flat. So C to E flat is a minor third. C to A is a major sixth. If you lower that A to an A flat, C to A flat is a minor sixth. And then C to B is a major seventh. If you lower that B to a B flat, C to B flat is a minor seventh. Let's go through some examples with D as the bottom note now. D to E is a major second. D to E flat is a minor second. So we've taken that E, lowered it to E flat. D to F sharp is a major third. Lower that F sharp to an F natural. D to F natural, or just F, is a minor third. D to B is a major sixth. If you lower that B by adding a flat, now D to B flat is a minor sixth. And then D to C sharp, that's a major seventh. If we take that C sharp, lower it by turning it into a natural, D to C, or C natural, is a minor seventh. Another way to figure out if an interval is major or minor is by counting the half steps. And if you're using your guitar to count your intervals, you just start on the first note and count the half steps to the next one. So a minor second is 1/2 step. A major second is 2/2 steps, or a whole step. A minor third is 3/2 steps. 1, 2, 3/2 steps, or a whole step and a half step. C to E is 4/2 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps, or 2 whole steps. A minor sixth is 8/2 steps, which is a lot of half steps to count, so you might want to count 4 whole steps instead. So there's your start, and you count 4 whole steps from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So C to A flat is 4 whole steps, your minor sixth. C to A, your major sixth, is 9/2 steps, or 4 whole steps and 1/2 step. 1, 2, 3, 4 whole steps and a half step. C to B flat is a minor seventh, and that's 10 half steps or 5 whole steps. So C, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That takes you up to B flat on the 13th fret. And then a major seventh is 11 half steps or 5 whole steps and 1/2 step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a half step. Now, when you're trying to figure out whether an interval is major or minor, you can either count the half steps or use the major scale as your guide, whichever works best for you. Personally, I prefer using the major scale as my guide instead of trying to remember all those half steps. I really like relating all these intervals to major scales, and it also helps ensure that you know your major scales really well. This is also going to be a big help later on when we're starting to put together chord progressions. And a quick reminder before we get to the exercise on the next page, only seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths can be major or minor intervals. We're going to talk about fourths, fifths, and octaves in another module. Top of page 27, we have this interval quality exercise. Your job is to figure out if these are major or minor seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. And remember that if you're using your major scale to figure out the interval quality, you use the low note as your reference point. If you have my book, Guitar Theory Modules, write your answers right there in the book, and you can check your work on page 212. And if you don't have my book, Guitar Theory Modules, just write this on a piece of paper. Now, if you're using your major scale as a guide, you're going to need to write out some major scales, and you're going to need some manuscript paper. If you don't have any manuscript paper, I have some free manuscript paper you can download from my website, and I'll leave a link for that in the description. So go ahead and pause the video, write out your answers, and then start the video up and check your work. So number 1, we have G going to B. So first of all, figure out what interval that is. So G, A, B, that's 3 notes, so that's a third. Next, construct a G major scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So that B does belong in the G major scale, so that is a major third. Number 2, we have a D going to a C. Our basic interval there is a seventh. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, 7 notes. Construct a D major scale. And we need a C sharp in the D major scale, but we have a C natural here. So that C natural is 1/2 step below the C sharp. So D to C is a minor seventh. Number 3, we have a B flat going to C. Any kind of a B going to C, whether it's flat or whatever, is going to be a second. And then we construct a B flat major scale. And that C does belong in the B flat major scale. So B flat to C is a major second. Number 4, we have E going to C sharp. Count the notes. E, F, G, A, B, C sharp. That's 6 notes. Then we construct a major scale starting on E. F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp is in the E major scale. So E to C sharp is a major sixth. Number 5, we have F to G flat. Now F to any kind of a G is going to be a second. And then we construct an F major scale, which starts with F to G. So that G flat does not belong in the F major scale. It's a half step too low. So F to G flat is a minor second. Number 6, we have a D flat going down to an F. So D, C, B, A, G, F. That's 6 notes. So this is going to be an interval of a sixth. Now we use the bottom note to build our major scale. So we're going to use the F to build our major scale. F, G, A, B, C, D. So there's no D flat in the key of F, there's a D. So the D flat is a little too low. D flat to F is a minor sixth. Number 7, C to A. C to A is a third, C, B, A. And then we use our lower note to build our major scale, so we're going to use the A. So does C belong in the A major scale or not? Let's find out. A, B, C sharp, it does not, so that's going to be a minor third. Number 8, C to B. C going to B is going to be a seventh, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, 7 notes. Construct a C major scale. D, E, F, G, A, B does belong in the C major scale, so C to B is a major seventh. Number 9, we have an A flat to a C. Any kind of an A to a C is going to be a third. Then you build a major scale from that A flat, B flat, C. There it is. C belongs in the A flat major scale. So A flat to C is a major third. Number 10, G flat to E flat. G to E of any sort is going to be a third. We use our lower note to construct our major scale. So E flat, F, G is in the E flat major scale. So G flat is too low. So G flat is going to be a minor third. Number 11, A sharp down to F sharp. Any kind of A to F is going to be a third, and we use the lower note to build our major scale. So F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Sure enough, A sharp belongs in the F sharp major scale, so F sharp to A sharp is a major third. Number 12, we have D to E. That's going to be a second. And then you construct a D major scale. Those first 2 notes of the D major scale are D and E. So D to E is a major second. And remember, one way to quickly identify major and minor seconds, a minor second's always going to be a half step. A major second is going to be a whole step. Number 13, we have F to E. That's going to be a seventh. Then we construct an F major scale. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E. And there we have it. F to E is a major seventh. Number 14, C going down to B. C to B is always going to be a second, and then we use the lower note to build our major scale. So we're going to be going off of the B major scale. B, C sharp is the second note of the B major scale, so that has to be a minor second. And again, B and C are also a half step apart, so that's a really quick way of telling that that's a minor second. Number 15, A going up to C sharp. A to any kind of C is going to be a third, and then we construct a major scale based on the lowest note, the A. That'll be A, B, C sharp. So that belongs in the A major scale, so A to C sharp is a major third. Number 16, E going down to C sharp. E to any kind of a C is going to be a third, and we use our lower note, the C sharp, to build our major scale to figure out if it's a major or minor interval. So our C sharp major scale, which you're not going to see too often, is C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, not E. So C sharp to E is a minor third. Number 17, we have a D flat going to an E flat. In this case, you can just say, hey, that's a whole step. So that's going to be a major second. Number 18, we have E going to G. E to G is a third, and then we build a major scale starting on E to figure out if it's a major or minor third. So E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, not G, so that's going to be a minor third. Number 19, D going down to F. D to F is a sixth, and we use a lower note, in this case the F, which is a second note, to build a major scale to figure out if it's a major or minor sixth. So F, G, A, B flat, C, D. D belongs to the F major scale, so that is a major sixth. And then number 20, E going down to D. That's the interval of a second. That's also a whole step. So that is going to be a major second. By now you should have those major scale forms from Module 3, page 16 memorized. If you don't, keep working on that, and if you do, that's great. Just include that in your warm-up from now on. And make sure you get in the habit of identifying major and minor intervals in the music you play. That's going to be a huge help when we talk about building chords and harmonic structure, and it's going to make you a much better sight reader and musician. We're using these major scales to figure out major and minor intervals, which means you're going to be writing out a lot of scales. So if you still need some help with that, make sure you go back and review Module 4. Remember that each module builds on the last one, and there's nothing wrong with spending extra time on a module and reviewing earlier modules. This is not a race. Just take this all at your own pace. And don't forget to check out my book, Guitar Theory Modules. You can learn from all my videos without my book, but if you do have guitar theory modules, you'll have all this information in one place and it's going to be a lot easier to follow along. So I will leave a link for that in the description. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. And when you're ready, I will see you in Module 9, where you're going to learn how to find and play major and minor intervals on the fretboard.